Oh, go live. Oh, what? No. Oh, did I just end that? Hold on. Oh, I'm live. Hey, hi everybody. Um, Kevin says no, you're not. You're in private Yerdling. Okay. Hi everyone. Welcome to treasure hunting with Yerdle. I hope everyone can hear me.
Yay!
Yes. Hi Rachel. I see you in the chat room, and I see you right there. It's so great to have you on. Thank you so much for coming and
Yeah,
talking
I'm
to
so
us.
excited to be here. This is such an
Um,
awesome group. So thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, you've got a lot of buzz in the group. We've got really excited about Yerdle in the last couple of weeks. Could you kind of explain to us what Yerdle is and what the vision is, what Yerdle's about?
Totally. And I want to make sure, can people hear us in the chat group? I saw Kevin said he couldn't hear us, but just want to make sure everybody's
I think he might be
going.
trolling.
Okay.
Are you trolling us, Kevin? Yeah, he's just trolling.
Nice. Awesome. Cool. Great. Well, fantastic. So yeah, again, I'm Rachel. I'm one of the team members here at Yerdle, and Yerdle has an interesting kind of inception story, and I'll kind of start with sort of why we started the company, what our mission is, and then we can get more into like how exactly it works. I think a lot of you guys have already been trying it out, which is awesome. But it's really cool to get kind of the backstory of why in the heck we invented a marketplace where everything costs $0 and you trade these points to give away and get things that you want from other people.
I've got all my Yerdle
And it
stuff
really
here.
starts.
Everything I'm selling on
Oh,
Yerdle,
nice.
I've got it, or giving away on Yerdle. I've got a big
Yeah.
pile right here. Carry on.
That's awesome. That's so great. So I'll start really with our co-founders and who they were. So we actually have three kind of main co-founders. Adam Werbach, he was the youngest president of the Sierra Club. He became the president of the National Sierra Club when he was 24 years old. He's like a lifelong environmentalist and environmental leader. And he, after the Sierra Club, he actually went on and began working with major corporations to help them address their sustainability challenges. And that's where he met our other co-founder, Andy Rubin, who was the head of sustainability at Walmart. He actually kickstarted Walmart's entire sustainability program. He also ran like global e-commerce and strategy for Walmart. So he comes from like the huge big box retail environment, and was one of the first people to really say, if Walmart is selling, a majority of the goods sold in the U.S., it's the largest employer in the U.S. What can we do to kind of address sustainability from the products that we source at Walmart? So he and Adam actually worked together at Walmart to sort of look at their supply chain and say, how can we make products better? How can, if we're going to be selling all these things to Americans, how do we make them somewhat more sustainable? They would do things like take a plastic fork that Walmart was selling hundreds of millions of over the course of a year and like hollow out a little bit of the inside of the plastic fork to save like
Wow.
hundreds of millions of pounds of plastic, which ultimately is good. But I think at the end of the day, they sort of realized, we're still selling all these plastic forks. We're still selling all these coffee makers and all these brand new items. And these items are actually accumulating in people's houses. We've gotten really good at the science of like getting people to buy stuff and it's all accumulating. But there's not a good way to sort of liberate that stuff and make it available to others. It's like it's easier to buy a brand new coffee maker on Amazon.com or Walmart.com or at a Walmart store, and pay full price for it when there might be a coffee maker sitting in your neighbor's garage that hasn't been used in a year. It's perfectly good. And if you had access to it, you could save yourself a lot of money and we could save all the waste and energy and the materials used to create that coffee maker. And it's sort of better all around, save money, save resources, save the environment. Um, so they ended up teaming up with our other co-founder, Carl Tashian, who came from Zipcar. So he was one of the first engineers at Zipcar, which is a sharing, service that helps people, rather than own a car, share access to a car and kind of rent a car by the hour just when you need it. And so they were sort of trying to figure out how can we build a sharing platform, not for cars, not for houses like Airbnb, not just for something like clothes, but just for stuff, all the durable goods that accumulate in our houses. And so that's sort of the inception mission of Yerdle. And what we're actually hoping to do is to replace 25% of all durable goods commerce in America with sharing, with giving and getting essentially for free. So we're trying to take a quarter size bite out of the multi-trillion dollar retail economy, And we actually believe that of all the durable goods that are sitting in people's houses, they're valued at about $5 trillion. So it's a huge
Wow.
market. Obviously, you guys are all eBay pros. We've seen how eBay was able to enter this space and allow people to buy and sell from each other, which was super novel at the time. And we're actually really glad that they pioneered a lot of elements of this. Like when eBay first came out, people thought, you can't have people ship things to and from each other. Like people are going to put bombs in the packages. But they found out no, people don't put bombs in the packages. People just trade things, buy
You know,
and sell things from each other.
that's one of the things I really like with Yerdle. It seems like you guys have a lot of faith in people, and I really like that. Like I feel like eBay now has got, like I used to eBay about 10 years ago, and it seemed easier.
Yeah.
Now it feels like there's a lot of red tape, and there's a lot of people like watching out, and manufacturers getting involved, and just even just listing a product takes forever on eBay. I find it a very slow process, and what I love about Yerdle, like I've sat and spent an hour listing, and I can just get so much done on Yerdle, just like and get it listed, shipped, and it's such a quick process, and I've really enjoyed that. I'm having a lot of fun with it at the moment. Um,
Yeah, we've definitely tried to make it super easy, right? Because we're actually asking people to do something that's kind of a big deal. Like you have to look around your house, find something that you're willing to give away for free to someone else, take a photo of it, post it online, and actually be willing to ship it out. And so, we feel like we have to do our best to make it as easy as possible for you to do that. And when we introduce this virtual currency, the Yerdle credits, that's also a way for you to be rewarded for doing that behavior. Ultimately, you're doing a very generous thing. You're taking something that you paid for or someone gave you that you own, it's yours, and you're choosing to just give it away to a stranger. But we love the fact that you can be rewarded through this currency that you're able to accrue value for that thing. And I
you
think
know,
what's funny is that when you're giving something away, like it essentially has no value to you in many ways, or it almost has like negative value because you're like, it's taking up space in my house. I need to get rid of it. Um, but to someone who's getting it new, it's actually super valuable. You're like, oh my gosh, I would pay $20 for that. I'd pay $50 for that. So it's neat to see something. We're actually like allowing you to recapture value in something that to you it's lost value, but to others it has value. And how can they give you that value without having to spend a lot of dollars? So
yeah, I mean, there's a couple of things there. I mean, one thing that we always say to people who are getting started in eBay, the one thing I hear a lot is start looking around your own house. Like there's $3,000 to $5,000 worth of stuff probably just lying around your house, like board games or books, or like I don't know. I've got so much junk just from doing what I do. And I mean, I'm seeing how quickly it's going on Yerdle. It's like it's very fast. People are really quick to say yes, please, I want that. And I think the what you guys are doing really well is giving away that 250 credits when you get started, because it makes people go, okay, I'll try this. So what have I got to lose? I've only got to pay the shipping. Great, I'll go ahead and do that.
right,
I,
might as well, kind of a
yeah,
no-brainer.
I think
Yeah, I think it is funny when you com just to go back to your sort of like
yeah.
you might have $5,000 worth of stuff in your house that you could list on eBay, and it's sort of strange that I think to some people they're like, I don't want to take the time. Like I don't feel like figuring out the value and the price of each item, like researching what I should list it for. And they don't necessarily feel like they don't aspire as much to like earn money off of these individual things, even though there's some people that are super into it. I know a lot of people that we interact with, it's like they'd rather just go like give it all to Goodwill and just get done with it than to feel like they're making individual money off of it. And so it's like, well, then why would they use Yerdle? Because it's a similar process. You're listing it, you're shipping it, and part of it I think has been that the relationship you actually build with the person that you're sending it to. Like rather than going off to Goodwill or a Salvation Army,
Mm.
and just feeling like, okay, it's just going to like this anonymous pool. I have no idea who's going to use it. I don't know if Goodwill's actually just going to throw it away. I don't know if the person who gets it is going to, just trash it or whatever. And they feel like on Yerdle, I'm giving it to a real person. I can see that person. I can interact with that person. We want to increase your ability to interact together. Right now, it's pretty minimal, but it
Yeah.
feels kind of good to know, like, okay, like I really loved this thing. It was awesome for me, and now I can feel like I know who's going to use it, and they can actually tell me a story about what happened to it. Like maybe they shoot a picture of their daughter wearing it, and it just sort of makes you feel good.
I told you my Audrey Hepburn story. The lady wanted. I put up a breakfast at Tiffany's box set, and it was a VHS tape, and it had photographs of Audrey Hepburn, and it had a script, and it had all these bits and pieces in. And she sent me a message, and I can't remember how much she offered for it, but she said, "Look, I've got this many credits. Will you please take it? I love Audrey." And I said, "All right, sure, okay, fine." So I gave it away to her, and she sent me an email back and said, "Look, I just want to show you this is how much I love Audrey and how much this is going to mean to me." And she sent me a picture of her living room, and there was like this huge portrait of Audrey there. It was painted in the Tiffany blue green color, and just everything was all about Tiffany's breakfast at Tiffany's. I was like, wow, this could not have found a better person in the world. Um,
Right. It
and
feels
it
really
was
good
so
to have that match, like making that
yeah.
match where you're like, I didn't just give it to someone who likes it, I gave it to like the person that's over the moon about it.
Yeah. So who would you say is the typical Yerdler? Like what people use Yerdle?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll answer that. And I see there's a few questions on the side too. So I want to make sure that, like Sean and Kevin, you've asked some good questions. So I want to
Yeah.
make sure I can
I've got a few
address
more
that too.
actually
So,
people have sent. So I've got a few more questions down here
oh,
that
good,
we'll
good,
we'll
sweet.
get to as well.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I think so from a demographic perspective, we have more women than men on Yerdle. It's like 60-40. Our average age is generally the sort of 18 to 35. So we're sort of slightly on the younger side. I think a part of that's just due to the fact that we're primarily an iPhone app right now. And, sometimes younger people feel a little bit more comfortable downloading an app, and using it. I think that we certainly have like a lot of, moms and dads. Like Yerdle's a great place to get kids gear, and kids cycle through things so quickly so that you can. And sometimes parents actually find matches with each other, so they'll find another parent that's like 9 months ahead, and they'll just continually get those hand me downs from that family, and then when they're done with it, they pass it on to another family. So we're sort of seeing those types of chains. But I also think we have young people with that are not don't have kids yet who just love, the delight of treasure hunting, just like you all. It's like you just never know what you're going to find on Yerdle, and it's a fun place to go and explore. So I would say, yeah, millennials, parents, leaning women. I think we've started to see a trend in women who, sell on eBay or some of the other fashion sites like Poshmark, Threadflip,
Yeah.
ThreadUp. They're already sort of in the space of listing their clothes. And if they find something that's just has not been selling, they've realized, oh my gosh, Yerdle is a really fun place to find a match for that item. And then I'm accruing credits to go get other stuff. And in some ways, they might feel like the credits actually are just as valuable, if not more valuable than dollars, because, they can go a long way on Yerdle for something that, you could sell something that to you is worth $20 and get something that to you is worth $50. And so you actually can like come out pretty well in those kinds of exchanges.
How much have you guys thought about your like the Yerdle economy? Because this kind of fascinates me. I'm like I don't know. Are people working out spreadsheets like to figure out how much a Yerdle's worth? Is there I've had a lot of questions. I've got like, do you guys have a current estimation on the value of a Yerdle against a dollar? And I've also got how
Yeah.
many Yerdle points are in circulation? Is there a cap on how many get created so that my points are
Oh,
not devalued through inflation? So like people are very
yeah.
serious because I guess especially in this group there's a lot of resellers and a lot of people are into arbitrage and like buying things and selling
Hmm.
things. Is that
Yep.
something that Yerdle intends, or is this a byproduct, or like what's your guys' take on the economy of Yerdle?
Yeah, it's all really good questions. And we definitely see it as an economy. We worked with behavioral economists when we were designing the currency. And we know that over time we'll probably end up having to have like a staff economist that's in charge of like understanding and measuring and implementing policies around the economy,
Yeah.
which is it's pretty fun to think about. Um, we do not have a Yerdle to dollar exchange rate. We don't want there to be a Yerdle to dollar exchange rate. My younger brother-in-law, he's kind of a finance sort of guy, and he's just obsessed. He's like always asking me, like, how much is a Yerdle worth? You've got to have an answer. Like, there has to be one. And I think part of it is that, like I was sort of saying, the value of these items are actually incredibly subjective. in many ways. And so to someone, it's worth, like we really let the crowd sort of decide how many credits are worth, something might be worth to them. And there's so many people that come on and they just give things away for 10 credits because like they don't even want credits. And it's like those items are actually could probably go for 300 credits, but they're going for 10. And there's other people that come on and they try to, list something and they want 1,000 credits for something that's like most people would say, that's not worth more than 100. So it's definitely like working its way out. Um, and yeah, I think it will be something that as we get bigger, we'll have to address more directly. But again, we don't want people to really be thinking so directly in sort of dollars and cents to Yerdle credits because ultimately it's sort of a behavior where, what, it's you're choosing to give things away. And like you're choosing to sort of connect with other people around something you might want. So when the woman with the Audrey Hepburn story gets in touch with you and says, please, 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 like an Audrey addict, like help me out. You're just like, of course, you're not like, no, this is worth 450 credits, and if you don't have it, like I'm not giving it to you. Like that's
Yeah.
certainly you exhibited the kind of behavior we're trying to kind of design for. Um, and then in terms of inflation and the number of credits in circulation, I can talk a little bit about kind of the history of credits. So, we introduced it in September of 2013. It took us 6 months to have the first million credits transacted on Yerdle. So, a million credits were exchanged in the first 6 months. It took us only one more month to have the next million exchanged, 2 weeks for the next million. So like we're certainly seeing like a high degree of activity and people sort of exchanging the credits over time. I don't actually have the number of how many are in circulation.
Oh,
It's not something that I look at on a daily basis for my job here at Yerdle. Um, I think that we have seen, I think people are spending higher volumes of credits. So I think but we definitely just want to sort of make credits a useful tool for help for inspiring the behavior of giving and getting, and we definitely want to protect the value of credits over time. I saw that on the side there was a question around Listia, and I think that's a site that we've looked at, and I think they have pretty tremendous credit inflation. Like it's great things cost like 30,000 credits,
oh
which is
wow.
can be kind of overwhelming to a new user. And so we certainly would like to keep the like the average transaction volume of credits, to something that's more approachable for a new member. And you just have to be careful. It's sort of easy to design a way where it's like get 100 credits for this, get 100 credits for that, bonus credits for doing this, and it's like that also is what sort of can lead to inflation. So it's something we take really seriously. We realize that we want the bulk of credits in the system to be earned through giving items away, ultimately. So that's our goal. But we're pretty young. That ultimately we've only been around. The Euro credit system will be a year old in September, so we're not even a year old yet.
Ah,
And I
happy
think we have a ways to go in terms of evening it out. Yeah, we should throw a
birthday.
birthday party in September.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really interesting system. I mean, I'm seeing it on two levels. Like I was bidding on an iPhone and I saw that going to a very high level. And I guess things like I see like you can't sell like gift certificates and things like that, which have a
Yeah.
very clear value. And that kind of
Hmm.
makes sense to keep it more. I mean, like things like this, I don't know. They're kind of toys. It's difficult to like put a very specific value on them.
Yeah.
And I think that makes a lot of sense, especially with the smaller items. I wonder when people start selling things like iPhones, and I saw someone had a diamond ring on there, and I
Hmm.
wonder then whether people are trying to kind of figure out the value, and whether there's some game playing kind of going on there to try and figure out the value of a Yerdle. But I kind of like that you keep us guessing. It's kind of like a game. It's fun.
Well, yeah, and it's funny. I think it'd be really neat to visualize. Like, let's say someone did win the diamond ring, with
Yeah.
for however many credits, like 4,000 credits.
Hmm.
Um, it'd be really neat to visualize all the things that they gave away in order to get that diamond ring. And it's
Yeah.
like for them, it was worth trading,
This pile of
75
stuff.
items in
Yeah.
exchange for the diamond ring. And technically, you could try to value each of those items, but ultimately, the number of credits they got for each of those items was based on the amount of demand that existed at that exact point in time when they posted it and listed it on Yerdle. And so it's a very subjective kind of thing. And I think, you really have two avenues when you post something on Yerdle. You can out the gate set a get it now price and say, I will, the first person who offers me this much, it's gone, like it's yours. Or you can sort of put it out there and see like how much demand is there for this. And it's like we've certainly seen things where it's like a couple people really want this one thing that's it's kind of random. Maybe it's like, I don't know, a vintage like lunchbox and they both just love that character. And it will end up, the credit price will get driven up through the auction system just like you guys see with eBay. Whereas like if they had posted that lunchbox for 200 credits, it also just would have gone quickly as well. So people are kind of testing it out, and I think you're right. I think that's kind of the fun of it, is to figure out how much is my stuff worth? Like, how many people want my thing? And I think when you think about, if we're trying to inspire the behavior of decluttering, what better way than to have this like social reinforcement of like, man, all these people want my stuff. Like that feels really good. It feels good to know that like,
Yeah.
you have something that other people want, and they're willing to express some value to you for that.
Well, the way I'm using it, and I've seen a lot of people in the group using it, is that a lot of us sell on either Amazon or eBay. And we do that very
Hmm.
seriously. We go to estate sales, and I tend to go to like a lot of rummage sales. So I come home with like
Hmm.
boxes and boxes of stuff and things that I think, oh, this is a great item, or I'm just buying very quickly because I'm at a rummage sale and I need to sort of fill up a box. And then I've got all this stuff, and I'm like, well, I could take it to Goodwill. What can I do with it? I think it's got some value, and I'm finding Yerdle is great for that because they're selling very quickly. I've got stuff that's sitting on eBay and it will sit there for a really long time. And also, I find like eBay has just become a lot of work to list there. I can list maybe 6 or 7 items an hour on eBay, whereas Yerdle, I'm just sitting there with my phone, like click, click, click. Oh, this is what it is. All right, and often they're selling within an hour. Like I wake up, I sold a calendar this morning. I sold a crystal growing set this morning, and I only listed them last night. Like it's such a quick system. So I'm really enjoying it for that. And I think there's other people in the group who are like, finally we can de-stash all of this stuff that we just haven't got round to listing on eBay. We haven't got the time to list it. And
Hmm.
it's great because we're stashing our credits. Um, that's a question I've got actually. I know someone asked about should we hold on to our credits and like accrue a nest egg? Is it gonna are Yerdle credits gonna become very valuable as more products come on Yerdle, or is there gonna be inflation? That's like a question that some people have been asking. I wonder if you've got a take on that.
Yeah, that is a good question. Oh, I wish I had a crystal ball and could tell you what's going to happen in the future. Um, I made my way up to like 4,000 credits at one point through listing like a lot of things. And I am Yerdle broke right now. I spent all my credits. And that was actually a lot of fun. And I'm moving next week. And so I'm gonna have a whole new tranche of things to post because I'm going through all my stuff, and I think I'll earn my way
Wow,
back
so
up
you're
again.
using it
So,
yourself. That's great. That's
oh
great.
yeah, I'm actually like probably one of the most active members of the team, I think, in terms of total posts. And um, yeah, so I actually think that, you know what, I think Yerdle is great as like a 365 kind of behavior. It's like you should just be like, it's great to post one or two things a day, and you can get one or two things a day, and kind of you'll see that your credit balance kind of stays in flow. If you have a specific item you really want, if you're like, I need a Kindle, I really want a Kindle, yeah, then list a bunch of things, save up your credits, and you should be able to grab one. Our CEO Andy like really wants a Kindle, and he just can't get one. Like he keeps trying to win one on Yerdle, and he gets
Oh,
outbid, or he like misses the auction time by just a few minutes. And so we're trying to improve basically the way that when you search something or you express to us that you want something, we want to develop a system to notify you when that thing gets posted so that you can come back to Yerdle and go find it. And I think that should also increase, you can sort of trust that if you post a lot of things, earn your credits. If there is something specific that you really want, we can try to help you find that in a way that's easy. So I think given the volume of things we have on Yerdle, it's slightly more functional as kind of a treasure hunt, like because you just don't know what's going to be on there. We don't often have like I was searching for internet router because I'm moving and I'm going to need a new one, and there's three of them on there. And if I was specifically like I must have this exact model, this brand, this blah of a router, Yerdle's probably not going to be able to get one for me. necessarily at the exact moment that I decide I want it. Whereas like Amazon, of course, there's going to be one on there. But so I think right now it's a little bit opportunistic, although our goal over time is for it to really have a robust range of inventory, that's available. So, um,
People talk a lot about like gamification and the reward system, and I feel like Yerdle's like very much like a game, and it really appeals to people who have that mindset. Like you talk
mhm.
about being Yerdle rich, and I think that's one of the things I find really interesting. Like I realized something this week. I was bidding on the diamond ring, and I was bidding on
Yeah.
an iPhone. And I think I had 4,000 credits, but I realized that I'd spent my 2,000 bidding on the iPhone and I only had 2,000 left on the ring. And then I was like, no, I've run out of credits, and someone outbid me on the phone. And it's kind of like I realized there's like a strategy to this, that if you bid on two high value things at the same time, you're kind of going to run out of credits. But I kind of it's like a very equalizing thing, because I can't just say, oh well, I'm going to put in more money from the bank, and like someone can't come along and just be like, well, I've got more money, so I'm gonna outbid you on this. And in that
Yeah,
way,
I'm
it's
just gonna buy a bunch now, but yeah.
yeah, and in that way, it's such an interesting thing. It kind of jumps outside of the economy, and it all becomes just how it works inside the Yerdle economy. And I find that very fascinating, just because I love the whole sort of game strategy that goes on there. Is it
Yeah.
tempting that you could start selling Yerdle credits? And is that anything that might be in the game plan, that you'll be like, okay, well, give us this much money and we'll give you Yerdle credits? Or is that never going to happen?
Yeah, well, I'll give out a pro tip that kind of
Mm.
relates to your first point around bidding on two high end items at the same time.
Mhm.
So you do have the ability to retract your bid and basically get those credits back in your bank account, as long
Okay.
as you're not the top bidder. So if you're bidding on the iPhone and the diamond ring, and someone outbids you on the iPhone, you're no longer the top bidder. So you can actually delete your bid,
Mm.
and those credits will go back into your account. You could just go for the one that you really want to go for. So that's a good thing to know about. It's not very prominent in our
That's a
flow, so
good
it's an
tip. That's
easy
a really
feature to
good
miss.
tip. Yeah, that would have
Yeah,
helped me out. Yeah.
and we definitely want to have a better system for
Mm.
showing you your credit transaction history. So you sort of have a bank account, you have a bank statement, you can see, okay, I spent this many credits over here, I earned this many credits over here, etc. Another thing I should share with all of you that's super important to know about is that we have a referral program at Yerdle. If you go to yerdle.com/referrals, I'll type it in here. You can basically see that you have a personal referral URL. And if you send that to anybody you know and they end up signing up for Yerdle, you'll get 25 bonus credits and they'll get 25 bonus credits. And so we have some members that have made 800 referrals. So
Wow.
they've earned, I can do the math really quick on that, but 800 referrals with at 25 credits a pop. Um, that's 20,000 credits right there.
Wow.
So, and they have a bunch of different strategies for how they refer people. Obviously sending it to like friends and family is a no-brainer. Posting it on like your Facebook wall and getting any Facebook friends to try it out makes a ton of sense. You can obviously tweet it or post on LinkedIn or any other kind of like social network where you have people. And also, I think like Facebook groups like this, or
Right.
listservs, or subthreads on Reddit, or just different places where people are congregating and talking about things
Hmm.
like this to sort of introduce, Yerdle and explain what it is, and then say, hey, if you sign up through my special link, you'll get extra bonus credits when you join. So go give it a try. And we found that that works really well for people. So if you're running low on credits, that's just something good to have in mind. I actually put my referral URL in the bottom of my email signature. So like every
Oh,
email that I send, it's there, and I actually see like it's just a little steady drip of people kind of joining that way. So
oh,
those
that's
are just
cool.
two
So
pro tips:
referring.
delete your bid and referrals. Um, and you wanted to know, I'm sorry, what was the rest of your
What
question?
what did I
Oh,
say?
are we ever going to sell credits? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. That's a
And
tricky one, isn't it? I'm sorry.
no, 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 it's a perfectly good question. And actually, the main question we get all the time is like, well, how does Yerdle make money? Like, how does Yerdle stay in
Mm.
business? Because you don't pay a membership fee. There's no advertising in the app. There's no advertising on the website. Our shipping is incredibly cheap. Two,
It
three, four
is.
dollars. Like
Yes.
we're
Yeah.
not making money on shipping.
Oh, I want to
So
ask
how
you
do we
about
make
that. I'm
money?
gonna make a note about the shipping. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, go
Um,
ahead.
And right now the truth is we're not making money. We're venture funded, so we're funded by investors that want to see us grow this marketplace and the platform. And we're really lucky to have investors that actually are very aligned with our sustainability values and our mission as a company. So we're actually a California certified benefit corporation, which means in our legal charter, in our legal documents, we have equal adherence to our sustainability mission as our profit motive as a company. So we can make decisions at the corporate senior level to sort of prioritize sustainability just as much as we prioritize profit or growth,
Wow.
which really
Cool.
sets us apart from other companies that when they become really large have to just do things constantly to drive profit. And we're going to be able to sort of adhere to our mission for the long term, which is really nice. So we're really happy to have investors that believe in that mission with us. Our lead investor, the Wesley Group, has invested in Tesla, the electric car company, Good Eggs, the local produce kind of marketplace. So they're very aligned with investing in businesses around sustainability. When it comes to selling credits, we actually think that it's probably going to be something we're going to have to do over time as we grow, because ultimately, not every person is going to be able to sort of consistently list items throughout the year as a way to participate and take it, get things on our marketplace. And ultimately, our mission is to make it as easy as possible to get something reused as it is
Yeah.
to buy it brand new. We're just like, how do we make it as easy to just buy something secondhand as it is to do online shopping, to do
Mhm.
typical brand new online shopping? And if the barrier to entry is I have to go around my house, take photos of stuff, pack it in a box, ship it, and sustainably accrue this currency in order to just be able to shop reused, that's probably a barrier that's going to be too high for like, you know,
Some
the
people just like to
average.
buy. They don't want to have the hassle of selling. They just want to buy things. That makes sense.
Right. And so, but what we don't want to do is just sell credits willy-nilly and let people, buy their way to getting the best items on Yerdle when we have all these great people that are posting tons of things and they're really earning their credits. And so we're not at the point yet where we're ready to start selling them. And if and when we do, it'll be in a very thoughtful way in which we kind of gate it. So if you think about like airline miles, like the airlines don't let you just go buy like thousands and thousands of freaking flyer miles. You have to earn them. And then if you need a little bit more, you can buy a few more. But the primary way you get them is to earn them. And so we kind of think we'll go something like that route. But it's a ways down the line. And so for the near term, it's just going to be listing items and referring people are is going to be the main way.
That makes sense. Yeah. So
Yeah.
how are you growing? Like where has Yerdle come in like the year you've been going? What's your growth like?
Yeah,
Like
it's
how
it's
many
really
people
exciting.
are there?
I joined actually the day that our iPhone app released from the iTunes store, and so it was sort of like a brand new kind of relaunch of Yerdle. We had had a 9-month period prior where we were primarily a website, and we decided to go mobile first, make it super easy to post items from your phone. That was a huge goal. We introduced the currency, we introduced shipping, we kind of made Yerdle available nationwide. And we really spent the fall just sort of testing the app, making sure the currency worked. Do people even want this currency? Like, how are Yerdle credits functioning? How do we make the app better? And so we came into the new year with just a few thousand people using Yerdle, and we've grown from January to now to 120,000 people. So we've had really
Wow,
significant growth over
awesome.
the spring, which we're very excited about. That's my area of focus in the company. I'm sort of in charge of growth. And we're looking at growing to up to about 400,000 people at the end of this year.
Wow.
And so yeah, we have a big growth plans ahead of us. And we have really strong word of mouth. People tell each other about Yerdle because as soon as you start using it and you're getting all this awesome stuff for free and just paying this minimal shipping cost, people they're really likely to talk about it with their friends. People definitely refer people to Yerdle. And we've had some media attention. Sometimes people list us in the sort of sharing economy articles. We'll talk about Airbnb, Lyft and Uber, and then Yerdle, which is sort of funny because we're so much smaller than those guys. Um, and we're going to launch some big campaigns this fall. We're going to have a big competition around upcycling and creating
Cool.
awesome creations using Yerdle items, which we think is going to gain some awareness. And we also we use Facebook. We do sort of mobile app install ads on Facebook, which is actually a big way that people find out about us right now. So it'll be really fun. We're in the process of actually building out our website. So this fall, we will no longer be constrained to iOS, to the
Yay!
iPhone app.
That's
You'll
good.
be able to use Yerdle on your desktop, your PC, or your Mac computer, and be able to search everything, find everything, bid, do all the stuff you can do in the app. And with your Android phone, you'll just be able to fire up Yerdle.com in your mobile web browser, and it's like you have the app on your Android. It's not a dedicated Android app, but you can do everything you want to do with your mobile web browser on your Android phone. So
Oh, that's
that'll
really
be
cool.
great. We're looking at sort of, yeah, that should be ready
I
by
like
around
listing.
October.
Yeah, I like listing on my phone, but then I don't know,
Yeah.
sometimes when I'm sat with my computer, it's nice to, and printing labels off I find is sort of easier from my laptop. So I've been doing that for
Oh,
my
totally.
email, I think. So, but yeah, that's really cool. I think a lot of people will be really happy to hear about that it's coming to the laptop or your desktop as well. I think that's a really
Yeah,
positive.
totally. We're excited about that.
So could you like explain a bit about the shipping and how that works? Because I've noticed like some of us were like, oh, it's the size of a basketball, it's the size of a coffee. Like we're kind of a little bit confused on the shipping, but we're could you kind of explain the vision with shipping and like what you can Yerdle, what you can give away through Yerdle?
Yeah, absolutely. We have actually, I'll send out, we have a link to like shipping guidelines on our website that sort of says the exact dimensions. So I don't want to give them incorrectly, but I believe like, it has to be with like 10 inches wide and 10 inches depth, and it can't be more than 10 pounds, I think, in terms of
Okay,
what we
yeah, I
ship.
think £10 is
Uh, yeah, we essentially subsidize shipping, so we make it really affordable, and we're sort of moving in a direction where it'll be cost neutral for us, so we'll be able to even it out that way. But yeah, right now our shipping partner is FedEx. We're going to be announcing a new shipping partner next week,
oh, that's
and
interesting.
we're really excited about that. Yeah, so stay tuned. Actually, if you signed up for Yerdle, you're going to get a notice about it on Tuesday. And yeah, our goal is just to make it, super easy for you to just print your label at home, pack it out. Eventually, we'd love to work with the U.S. Postal Service. They have a pretty rigorous policy of like how long you have to have been in business before they'll start working with you. So as we get bigger, hopefully we can work with them. Um, yeah, so I'll email out the shipping guideline, a sort of FAQ. A key thing that we also, you guys are all pros because you do Amazon, you do eBay, and it's like, you have to pack your item thoughtfully. We have
Yeah,
people that send out, maybe it's like a set of glass bowls and they don't put any insulation between each bowl,
yeah,
and then it's like you're sending someone a package and it's going to be like a box of glass shards by the time it gets to them, which is really sad. So we have a happiness guarantee at Yerdle where if anything goes wrong with your item, if it breaks during shipping, if it comes to you in a condition that you feel it was just not described adequately, if it comes to you not broken during shipping, but actually just not functional, we will reimburse your shipping, we'll reimburse your credits, we'll give you some bonus credits to make up for the hassle. We really want to make sure that all of your transactions are done, you know, satisfactorily and delightfully. And that's actually something that does really set us apart, I think, from Listia and some other marketplaces where, uh, it's a place like Yerdle is actually ripe for um, people that want to come in and just scam the system. They want to make like 50 accounts, trade all their points into a single account, get the Kindle, like it
yeah,
makes sense. And we've had people that have come in and tried to do that. And it really ruins the experience for other people. We had a period, in February where we had some of our most stalwart members trying to give away really nice items, and like it would get won by a scammer, and we'd have to intercept the transaction. And then I get one by a scammer again, it would intercept the transaction. And so we've worked so hard over the last 5 months to limit this and and we've really ratcheted it down to sort of an absolute minimum. So now, in order to create a Yerdle account, you have to verify yourself with a mobile phone number. So
mhm,
unless you have 50 phones and 50 phone numbers, you can't make 50 accounts anymore.
yeah,
We've been able to sort of identify uh, suspicious behavior and actually cut people off before they even make a false transaction. We're really quick to delete items that we know to be false. So we've done a lot to try to protect the community because trust and security is hugely important to us. This is a place we want you to be comfortable giving something away that was yours that you treasured, and we don't want you to feel like you sent it to someone who wasn't good or had any sort of bad behavior. So we actually have a whole like happiness team, and their whole job is to just make our members really happy and make sure that they, everything has been done to help make their transactions positive. So
You know something I really like is that you see a little picture of the person selling the item or bidding. I feel like
yeah,
that adds a
yeah.
really personal touch when you actually can
Hmm.
see the person that you're buying from. You're like, oh, okay, she looks nice, she looks trustworthy. I think
Yep.
like it's such a little thing, but I actually think that's like a really smart, really clever thing that it adds that personal touch there. It's really cool. Um,
Totally. That's part of why we integrated with Facebook and Google Plus as like the main way to sign up for Yerdle, because
yeah.
now it's really tied to your actual identity, and your profile picture is auto-populated in there, and it really helps inspire a sense of trust. And we'll eventually expand beyond that and offer you the ability to sign up without a Facebook account or without a Gmail, email address. But for right now, that's worked very well for us.
Yeah, I love it so much better than like Toy Seller 1963. You're like, who is this guy? It's so much nicer when you see, oh, Jane and there's her picture. Yeah, that makes a big
Yep.
difference. Do
Yep.
you have any plans for it's something I like that you don't actually have a feedback system because I found like people are kind of frustrated with the eBay and Amazon feedback systems. Like on Amazon, no one even leaves feedback unless it's bad. It's very difficult to get feedback there as a seller. And on eBay, I feel like feedback is less important now than it used to be. People are just buying,
Hmm.
and it's not such a big issue as it used to be. Do
Hmm.
you have any plans for feedback, or is that something you're just going to avoid and um, let people's history speak for itself? Like, what's your
Yeah,
take on feedback?
we really want to have a system. I think calling it feedback is sort of one way of looking at it. I think for us, um, it's really about sort of fleshing out who are the people here on Yerdle, and how can we kind of increase trust between each other? How can we sort of reward people who are really great and make sure that they kind of shine above everyone else? And um, we look at systems like Airbnb or Lyft, the ride sharing company, where you kind of rate each other after every transaction, 1 to 5 stars, and you can actually sort of track, is someone, are they prompt at responding to emails? Did they leave a nice little thank you note in the box? Like that's going to cause them to have a rating that's higher. Um, and we love the idea of implementing badges where we can give
That's
each other
cool.
little badges. For like, oh, you wrote the best thank you note. I'm giving you a superstar thank you badge, and sort of helping people um, just feel good about the good actions that they're taking. I think that, yeah, I would hope that ultimately we want to design a system that inspires positive behavior versus, culls or highlights negative behavior. So, and I think ultimately, like, we could have a system where, if your user rating drops below a certain level, like maybe you don't actually Yordle anymore, because we want you to, we want to have people on it that really care, that, you know, treat others the way we want them to be treated on Yordle, and then develop a really safe, trusting, happy community. So we haven't started designing it yet. We know that it's going to be on our roadmap for sure. And we're thankful that there's a lot of other good and not so good systems out there to really look at a
Yeah.
model and say, do we want it to be like eBay's feedback system, or do we want it to be like Airbnb's, host guest system, where it's like, oh, thank you so much for making the cupcakes for me when I stayed at your place. Like those are the kinds of things
Yeah.
that I think we want to
I
inspire
like the
people to
positive
share. So,
reinforcement. I think that's really encouraging for sellers. I've seen so many people getting disheartened. Like I made a little ebook about feedback on Amazon just because I saw so many people getting kind of disheartened with people only leaving
hmm.
feedback when they're unhappy. So I really
Yeah,
like that idea that you could give someone a badge or a sticker or like a little picture that says, "Hey, they were a star Yodler. They went the extra mile." I think that's such a great idea, and I think as sellers
totally.
that's a very because I know like I get really hurt when I get a poor feedback for something. It like really gets to me, and I'm like, no, what am I going to do to make
Hmm.
this? And it's good because I want to make it better and I want to solve the problem. But at the same time, I
Yeah,
know people feel they're often it's something out of their control. It was something that happened during shipping, or like it was something they didn't have control over, and they feel very kind of hurt and upset by that. So I think that's
yeah,
so cool that you're looking at like a positive feedback system that will deal with the bad
yeah.
sellers, but also not like it will give encouragement rather than putting off the sellers that really mean well. That's such a great idea. I like that a lot.
Yeah, well, when we start designing it, I'd love to have you, work like talk to our product and design team with feedback
Yeah,
about how we
yeah.
can make that really exciting. And oh yeah, I was gonna say that we actually have a special community for our most active Yerdle members. It's not very well known, but I think for many of you guys, if you become really active in the system, you'll get invited
Yeah.
into it. We have a private Facebook group for our most active Yerdlers, and it's
Oh,
been
cool.
so fun to see that community really blossom. And one of the things that they did is they actually kind of like hacked a user rating system by they would implement emoticons in the titles of their items to signal to each other within Yerdle, like I'm a pro giver, I'm a pro Yerdler,
Oh, how
you
funny.
should look at my stuff. And there some of them were like, I'm only willing to get things from pro givers. And I think it showed us like how much demand there is for a system that sort of signals out the people that are really committed and that are going to do a good job every time. But yeah, if you end up posting more than 30 items on Yerdle, you'll eventually get invited to our pro giver community.
Oh, that's
And it's a
interesting.
lot of fun. I think you guys, from the threads I saw in this group, I think it's a lot of similar conversations happening over there. And we
Yeah.
love it. It's a great way for us to learn what we can do better. It's a great, you get, direct feedback to our team around the types of features you want to see, and we listen really carefully. So that's a lot of fun.
That's great. No, I'm seeing people are very excited about what you're doing. I mean, I went to a party last night and I was just explaining to some people there about I was like, hey, this is cool thing. It's kind of like eBay, but it's more interesting. You use credits and it's really quick and you can just show people on your phone and be like, look, I listed something in like 1 minute. And I think it's a lot more accessible. I think it's like a much easier way to get people into the whole idea of recycling things and reselling things from around your house. And I mean, it's helping me. I look like a hoarder at the moment. I've accrued so much stuff, and I just can't physically list it all on eBay. I've been like, hey, should I hire someone to sell all this stuff for me? But actually, I'm really enjoying like putting it on Yerdle, consolidating. There's Sean there saying Catherine's been telling us about Yerdle a lot for the last week. I'm becoming kind of an evangelist for it just because I think it's a really
You
interesting,
are.
cool system. It's a lot of fun. But
Oh, totally. And you know what? I think that I'm going to be launching a new program for people who are evangelists of Yerdle. Um, I'm calling them referralers, people who refer
that's
lots of
great.
other people to Yerdle. Um, and we're actually right this month going to be developing some of the perks and benefits of being part of that program. But it could be that, if you refer a certain number of people, your referrals end up being worth double. Like you get 50 points for every person you refer
Oh
versus
wow.
the normal 25, or special access to come meet our team, or just like fun things that are, we send our pro givers stickers and tote bags and packing supplies and things that help make their Yerdle experience better. And I
Cool.
think we'd do the same thing for this. So yeah, I would love to talk to you about that separately, because it seems like
Yeah.
you're, like Sean said, you've been made in the mold of a top referraler.
So
So yeah.
I gotta ask, where does Yerdle, like, who came up with Yerdle? It's such a great, we all have so much fun with it. Like I was seeing Kevin go, Yerdle, Yerdle, and we're like, every day I'm Yerdling. Like we're loving it.
Totally. Totally. Yeah, you know what? It is totally made up. It's a fun, just whimsical word that Adam, I think, made up. And part of it was that other people that were trying to build marketplaces in this space had very like literal names. It'd be like neighbor locker and like swap stuff and things like that. And I think we just wanted something that felt a little bit more fun. We want to build a really delightful, whimsical experience. We want people to have fun with it. We love how it's become a noun and a verb. People. So, look what I'm yerdling. I yerdled that. Like I'm a yerdle addict. So yeah, we're always trying to sort of evolve the use of it and make it really
I like
fun.
the little
So
stick people
yerdle,
as well, like the little happy people on the site as well. That's a nice touch. There's a lot of really
yeah,
sweet
the
little
yerdle,
touches. Yeah.
the little orange one, Jiro, was actually drawn by our co-founder Adam. And we kind of call them the Yerdle monsters, and we're definitely hoping to like expand their presence on Yerdle because they are a lot of fun, and it's just like very
Yeah.
Yerdly.
Yeah, you've got a really strong brand. It's a lot of fun. We're having a really good time with it. All right.
Oh,
Well,
thank you so much.
I don't know if anyone's got. I think I've gone through all the questions. If anyone's got anything they really want to say, yell now because I think we're
You're a
probably.
nerd.
Yeah.
Nerdles.
Yeah. So. You're nerd. That's great. I love it. All right. Well, thank you
Well,
so much for
I would
joining
invite
me.
all of you to sort of send any feedback that you have to us. There's a couple ways you could do it. If you want to send me specifically feedback about ways that we can sort of grow Yerdle or get, sort of expand Yerdle, have fun with the brand, things like that, you can email me just Rachel at Yerdle. I'll type it in right here.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Rachel at Yerdle.com. The other one is if you have general questions or you want to talk to somebody with feedback about the product, concerns you have or anything like that, email support at Yerdle. That goes to our entire happiness team. And we'll get back to you. We have a pretty quick response time right now.
They're
So
really responsive.
we
I had a couple of questions and I emailed them and they answered me straight away. They were super helpful. So big fan of your customer service.
That's
And
good
I
to
had
hear. We
stupid
had back
questions.
in the earlier days, we had a really long backlog in customer service, and it really bothered us because we wanted to be able to respond to people right away. And so we're really happy that that team has gotten it down to a quick response time. And I really appreciate all of you taking the time. Honestly, I learned a lot. I learned a lot about you guys, and sort of I'm always trying to understand, why do people like Yerdle, or what would, how does Yerdle help them in their life, and what kinds of things do they do in their life that are, outside of Yerdle. And I just enjoyed learning about that. So I really hope that Katharyne, maybe if I have other questions in the future, if I want to do like a survey, and I
Absolutely.
could
You're
offer folks
welcome
like bonus
anytime.
credits for doing a survey, I would love to be able to sort of connect with you guys because you're a really cool, special group of people.
Absolutely. Yeah. Stay in touch. It's been
Yeah.
a lot of fun. Thank you so much, Rachel, for your
Yeah.
time. We really appreciate it.
Woohoo, thanks so much. Thanks,
All right.
Sandy. Yeah, and make sure to go to yerdle.com/referrals and get your referral code so that when you tell all your friends about it, make sure you get your bonus credits because you should totally be rewarded for spreading the word and being an evangelist like Katharyne. So
That's
thanks,
awesome. All
John.
right.
Thanks,
We're all
Sean.
Yerdle evangelists. All right. Well, have a great day, Rachel. And thank you, everyone else. Have a good week treasure hunting and see you all on Saturday. All right. Bye.
All right. Bye.